Milton, in the back with the camera right now, was sort of the inspiration for developing this concept right here. The reason why is because he recognized there are two major types of people. People, as far as when they have structure for going and trying to meet people.
Joshua, but of course you are an options guy. As soon as I told you that, you said, no, but let me change that.
That's exactly what I did. I was like, I'm going to make that my theory. But he had here before, he's like, okay, and he intuited this. And you're a sensor, aren't you? You're a sensor or you're intuitive? Okay, so he intuited this. Yeah, okay, I figured, but I just didn't know. So he said this person here is a wolf. He called them a wolf. And this person's a spider. Spiders lay webs, catch things, and eat them. Wolves go out and hunt things and eat them that way. And so I was like, that's a really interesting concept. I wonder why that is. And I deconstructed it, overlaid it, and realized that this is how it is when you break it all down. But there's another dimension to this as well. Oh, before I get too far, let me go into, I realized I didn't go into what the super framers need to do. So if you're a super framer, how many super framers do we have? A few? You need to pick one thing only and work on it until you've mastered it. One thing only. One quality you want, one ability, one something to work on. Banter, positive or negative body language. It's probably going to be a rapport quality or ladder attraction quality. Like a qualifier quality or something like that. Or a connection quality. How do you connect with these people better? Body language would be really good. Eye accessing cues, when we go over that section, you guys are going to be like, holy crap. Because it shows you how to read people's eyes to decide what they're thinking and how they're feeling. Which is really powerful. So that's what you need to do as a numbers gatherer. Now, you can also overlay every other part of the system, which I didn't want to do because it would fry your brain. But let's take external validation, external feedback or external frame versus internal. Just real quick. A target gatherer or super connector, if you have an external frame, you're going to be twice as good at connecting than if you have an internal frame. But if you have an external frame, you fall in love really fast. How many people have an external frame and are target gatherers? Do you find that that's true? If you're an internal frame, you don't fall in love as fast. You don't. But you also don't make as strong of a connection very quickly. So you see how this overlays on all of them. This overlays on all of these. So does extrovert, introvert. So does intuitive, sensor. Options, procedure. Everything overlays on this. But I didn't want to fry your brain. There'll be an entire new piece of information available when you guys will find out about later on for you that will have all of that information, but it would take, if I told you right now, everyone would look like, well, I guess really everyone would look like Eric does right now. He's like, which is how I feel too. So we have 4 days of this. I don't want to fry you right now. So let's continue. Okay. Next, we're going to shift gears here a little bit. Before I do, though, I want to just stress again that the goal, and I was talking to Mel about this during the break, the goal is to recognize your strengths first. If you feel like you've been working on your weaknesses for a long time, now that you see your weaknesses, you realize you've been working on them forever, stop that for a second and spend a quarter of the amount of time that you've spent developing your weaknesses and just develop your strengths for like 3 weeks. If you are I just took the chart down, but if you are a target hunter, just go out to bars. You probably already have. Go out to bars, go out to high energy environments, and really start using that connective power to get all this information. See how people are different, you're perceiving, you build a lot of attraction. Go out there and just build a shitload of attraction. You have to, because you have to know that you're good at that. If you haven't been doing it, then you haven't been seeing that at all. You're like, I suck at everything. That's what perceivers do. We're really hard on ourselves. Oh, I suck. I can't stop learning. Everything is new. I keep fucking up. So if you're a target gatherer, on the other side, then you're a judger, and you're a difference person. So set your house up so that it's awesome, and throw parties at your house. You'll learn so much. That's your strength. Host a party. Host it. Or go to a bar in which you know the bartender and invite people over, or take a girl to a bar that you already know everybody. Do this stuff, because that's your strength. You have to. Then, once you're like, I can do this anytime I want to, then go, well, maybe if I shift gears, I won't be so good. That's what you need to do. Don't go, I suck at everything. Let me try the hardest thing possible and just beat myself to death with it. Just hit myself in the head with it. That's what most people do. That's what I did too for a long time. If you're a numbers hunter and you're a sameness and perceiver, then try to go into an environment that's new, but try to, again, focus on building attraction. Because you are going to have a strong frame, you're going to be able to plow past a lot of tests. So go try to attract really attractive women that you're like, I can't get that woman. Cultivate that ability, because that's your natural strength. Your natural strength is to walk up to a woman who's going to give you a lot of tests, especially if you have an internal frame. She's going to give you a lot of tests, and you're going to pass them all because you're seeing her as the same as a lot of other women that you know, and you're very perceptive, especially if you have an internal frame. An external frame, you're kind of right in the middle. You're well-rounded. So make sure you do that. And if you're a numbers gatherer, again, you need to have this process down, and you need to bring a lot of people to a place where you're comfortable. A lot of people. A lot of people. You're going to look at everybody the same, so you're going to have a stronger frame than normal. This is your strength. Remember, it's not your weakness. Of course, your weakness is that everyone looks the same. Everyone is the same, so you want to work on that as well. But cultivate that strength. Because everyone looks the same to you, everyone seems the same to you, then you don't get as intimidated by these people. You can get past the first bit until you get to the rapport part. So try to find the patterns and places in which you're comfortable. Because you need a lot of people there. So bring a lot of people, again, bring people over to your house, bring people to a bar, have a whole bunch of people meet you at a bar. Again, you'd be a fantastic host for a party. Promoter even. Promoters are good at this. That's what they do. Promoters very rarely get into promoting because they love to throw parties or organize. They get into promoting because they are numbers gatherers and they want women. But they don't know how to go out to a bar and be a nobody and pick a girl up. So what do? What works for them? They're smart. Like, well, I'm not very good at that. But if I'm the promoter and I'm a judger and I have a situation in which I'm really comfortable and I have high value already and there are lots of women, I do really well, don't I?
It's a numbers game by that point.
That's why it's called numbers. Numbers are people who look at people who are the same. They look at everyone like the whole bunch of people here, so it's a numbers game. If you don't naturally look at that, then you're probably a difference person. And if you've been recently looking at things through those eyes, then you're probably just starting to work on that. Now again, we've all looked at this, we've all said at one point, that's right, that's wrong, or that's not the best way, that's not the best way. And there's all these arguments. The truth is, everyone's right, and everyone's wrong. There's just a reason why. There's a system behind it. And you can tell which one will work for you by dissecting what it is that each one offers. That's what we're doing now. So, shifting gears now. There's also a system, believe it or not. Imagine that, there's a system. There's a system to the way we learn. When I first stumbled upon this, I tried a whole bunch of different systems, like ways to draw this out and assimilate it, but I ended up settling on one called the 4-line. The 4-line was my interpretation of this system and how we learn. Who here has heard that there are 4 stages to personal development? There is subconscious incompetence, conscious incompetence, conscious competence, and subconscious competence. Who's heard that? Raise your hand, okay? I'm going to write those out on the board. 1 is subconscious. I'm just going to put incompetence. That means that you don't realize you suck at something. You know, man, the camera there. You don't realize you suck because you just never thought of it before. It's not within your reality yet. 2 is conscious incompetence. Conscious incompetence is the place where you go, oh no, I just realized I suck. That is a really hard thing to look at. A 3rd one is conscious competence. We're like, oh my God, I'm getting better. This is amazing. In fact, I'm getting good. And the 4th one is subconscious, sorry, that's an S there. Competence. That's where it's like it becomes a natural habit. Now, when I started looking at this originally, I was like, you know what? That's not really true because, well, it is true, but it's not just a 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Because we go through the cycle over and over and over again. If you think about it like in terms of martial arts. You don't have to, but that's the way I think about it naturally. Because I think, well, there's belts. You know, I get a red belt, then I get a whatever. I don't know. I get a white belt, then I get a green belt, then I get a yellow belt, then I get a red belt, whatever. And then I get a black belt, and I realize that there's another level. Then I get a 2nd degree, and then there's another level, you know? And I keep realizing that I suck at something. I keep realizing I'm getting good, but I'm not nearly as good as the next group up, right? So originally I drew it out like this. Pyramid. The pyramid, using these numbers, was like this, and so on. And the way it went was like this. You go through these stages, and then you move up to the next level, and you move up. And you don't realize you're moving up to the next level. Why? Because this move happens during which stages? From 4 to 1. What's the one thing that stage 1 and 4 have in common? They're both subconscious. So you have no idea it's happening in the first place. So the things you're aware of are like this. So how does this feel? I'm good, I suck. I'm good, I suck. I'm good, I suck. Over and over again. And we don't realize we're taking a step up because all of that stuff happens in our subconscious mind. Right? This was a really good model for me for a long time until I realized there's something else I need to add to it. The new evolved model for this is called the 4-line. The 4-line. Oh yeah, why don't you do that? Oh wait, before you do that, there's another one. The one underneath that. Wait, no, I put that one in first. Yeah, use the 4-line first. Okay, pass that one out. Thank you. The chart you have in front of you, which I'm going to draw right now, is a chart of the 4-line. Yours is a little bit more precise. I know because I spent forever trying to put it together. I was like trying to be perfect about it. All right. The 4-line says that the line down the center is the 4th stage, hence the name the 4-line. Subconscious competence. This line down the middle can represent whatever you want to, but for now, let's let it represent your life. Your life. 0 to death. Okay? This is a typical person's progress. And let's look at confidence as a zigzag. The pendulum. What does this say to you, this graph, if this zigzag is confidence and this 4 line is your life? It's perfect confidence, and the length is your life. Where do you reach pure confidence? At what stage in your life? Right? Don, do you have a question? Or oh, you're just saying you know the answer? Yeah. No, go ahead and answer then. Is it?
You never stop growing. You just,
Well, you can't see it because we can't zoom in that much. You're constantly calibrating a little bit, right? But I can't draw to an infinite. I mean, I can do lots of stuff, but I can't draw infinity.
But does it also get harder to grow as you grow more?
Not necessarily. It becomes more acute. You know, it's not as much that it's harder. It's that you have to break down what the next level is always. Every next level is going to be hard. But this is the cool part about this. Well, the bad thing is that if you live your life naturally and you pendulum swing, you're going to reach full confidence right before you die, which means you have like 10, 15 years of confidence when you're old and wrinkly, which we don't want that, you know? So here's what I figured out, and here's how you can manipulate the system of how you learn to learn more in a shorter period of time, to learn great skills in a shorter period of time. The way that you do that, by recognizing why these zigzags happen in the first place. So when you're born, you're perfect. Nothing wrong with you. You're confident because you're a baby. You don't know anything. But then, you realize, or you don't, you start moving away from the line immediately. Stage 1. Let's say that this person dies at like 70, right? Which means this is, what? What's that? 35? Yeah. 35, which means this is, let's say right here is about, let's just do this. So this is 35, 2015, 10, let's just make that 10 years, right? It's a little bit off, but 10, 15, 20. Okay. So around 20 years old, or actually more importantly around 15 years old, you get your first taste, true taste of failure. Your first true taste of I suck at this. And look how far you are. Geez, how are you going to get back? Really, you don't even know this yet, but you're the farthest out you're ever going to be. I guess this would be furthest, but it's conceptual. But anyway. And then you continue, let's hope. Sometimes you don't, but let's continue. You move forward at around 19, 20, you're feeling on your game. You're like, yeah, I'm doing it. I'm right here. I'm getting better. Going back toward the line, back toward the 4 line. The 3, you're conscious competent. And then you cross over the 4 line, not realizing it. You're so busy being good at what you do, and being awesome, that by the age of about 25, 26, you see it, your second big oops. And this one's just as big as the first one. This is 4, this is 1. You start to move away from the line again. And you get to 2, conscious incompetence. You realize you suck at something. Okay, so what do most people do whenever they get to the second big screw up? It's just as big as the first one. You're just as far away. You can't really tell from this image, but on the handouts it's the same. People usually go, I've tried it that way, and I've tried it this way, and I screwed up at both. I suck. And from here, that's the path they're on for the rest of their lives. Even if you keep progressing, though, as time moves on, wait, this is about 35, I think, right here, actually. As time moves on, you continue. You get better. You cross over perfection, and you move away, and you realize you screwed up. Every time you get to a 2, you switch directions because you realize you suck at something. So you turn around and you start working on it. And you correct and you go back the other way. You're like, I've been doing this the wrong way this entire time. Okay, so now I have to change directions and go this way. Now I have to change directions and go this way. And you're forever doing that, back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. 3, 4, and so on and so forth. So, the 4 line, then, in order to reach it, you're going to have to do what? What do you do in order to reach the 4 line? You have to find the 2's faster. So let's look at that for a second. When you are consciously competent, you're level 3, you're crossing over and going back toward perfection. You're getting better and better and better. When you get perfect at it, for a moment, right as soon as it becomes natural for you, a trigger needs to go off in your head that says, I'm about to go away from good. I'm about to cross over this line of subconscious competence. I'm about to cross over it, and when I do, the longer I bask in how good I am, the further away I'm getting from that perfect line. Further and further, further and further, further. So what do? Anytime that you are in that mode of like, oh, I'm getting better, prepare yourself to recognize that you feel natural at it. If you can make conscious the 4th stage, subconscious competence, if you can make it conscious to yourself, if you can recognize, and the way that you might recognize it is you might go out, let's say that you're working on something like pouring drinks, making mixed drinks. When you first start doing it, you're like, oh, I didn't even realize I was so bad at making drinks. I didn't even realize that. So now I'm going to work on it. So I'm working on it, I'm working on it. I'm like, oh, I'm getting better and better and better. Okay, great. I can pour drinks. People were happy. They love them. People even go, hey, this is a really great drink. This is the best drink I've ever had. And you're like, yes, I'm getting there. And then finally, you've been doing it for a week and you haven't even thought about it once. People have been complimenting you and you're like, oh, thanks. You don't even think about it anymore. As soon as that happens, a light bulb should go off. It should say, all right, you're getting consciously competent at this. How do I take it to the next level? How do I take it to the next level? Always ask that question. How do I take it to the next level? What's my next conscious incompetent point? Kevin, go ahead and hand out that next handout. You're going to get a sheet coming around. You can go ahead and start working on it immediately. What I want you to do is I want you to come up with things that you believe you are consciously competent at. Things you believe you are consciously competent, and things you believe you are consciously incompetent at. It's improper grammar, but I think you understand. Things in which you believe, bless you, you are consciously competent. Things in which you believe you are consciously incompetent. Go ahead and name 3 of those for each one. You can have a few minutes to do that. We're going to play some light music in the meantime.
Are all these the answers should be related to social dynamics?
Nope. They can be related to anything you want. It doesn't have to be about social dynamics. If you want to focus it, you can. If you don't want to, you don't have to. It can be as broad or as specific as you want. What are 3 things, though, that you realize you're at number 3 for? You're getting better at them. You're getting better at them. And what are 3 things in which you realize you're not very good at them? You just realized that recently. Now, what I want you to do right now is I want you to turn to another person you haven't talked to yet in the group. They haven't talked to in discussion time. And I want you to tell them the 3 things that you're competent at and the 3 things that you find you're incompetent at the moment. You have a few minutes to do this. Go ahead and do that. Take turns, obviously. Kevin's going to be handing out another handout, worksheet again. This one is going to play off the one you just did. Just go ahead and hand it to Joe again. Yeah. So this next one, I want you to look at the 2's, the incompetent, conscious incompetent points you wrote down on your paper. Sorry, I want you to look at your 2's and 3's, actually. Both of them. I think I just wrote down 2's on the paper. Let me see that. Yeah, let's start with, look at the things that you're consciously competent at. Consciously competent, the things that you're good at, you're getting better at. And ask yourself, what's the next level? What is the next level? I know you don't want to because you want to bask in how awesome you are. But don't do that. Ask yourself, what's the next level? This is exactly what you need to do. When you think you're getting good at something, immediately look at what the next level is. Immediately look at what the next level of whatever it is that you're good at. Write down the next level for all 3 of those points. You have a few minutes to do that. Go ahead and do that now. As I want you to, underneath that, I want you to write the words I am 3 times in a row, one on top of the other. I am, then space, I am, space, I am, space. And I want you to fill in this space with whatever it was that you believe the next level was. So your first one, let's say if you were talking about golfing, your next level was to basically perfect putting, right? Let's say that was what it was. Like, oh, well, now I think my next thing, I'm already good at this thing that I'm working on now. I'm getting really good at it. So my next thing is to now work on putting. Okay, so you would put down, I am a phenomenal putter. As if it were true already. As if it were true. Write it down. All right. So, how many people felt kind of weird doing that? Like it wasn't really, like it was kind of dishonest? Raise your hand. So, the reason why that was an important exercise to do, it should feel a little bit dishonest. I mean, if it doesn't feel a little dishonest, then you probably didn't do the next levels to the point at which you believed your next level truly was. Something that you don't attain already. If you maybe lowered your standards so that you felt like you could meet them. When you do a checklist, if you write in something that you did that day and then check it off already. Do laundry. Oh man, I have a long list of stuff to do, but I already did laundry, so I'm going to write do laundry in and check it off already. If you're one of those people, you probably didn't try to really figure out what the next level was. You probably tried to figure out what you could accomplish as the next level. But you want to think beyond that. What's the next? Oh my God, that's the next level for me. So that's okay if you didn't. If it wasn't like, if you're like, I don't really think that's true, then it probably wasn't high enough. That's okay. We'll continue anyway. But that feeling, if you did do it that way, that feeling of, that doesn't really feel real. Those are your beliefs kicking in. Those are your beliefs. And they're telling you that that's contrary to what they understand. Your beliefs are saying, I have a belief that's contrary to this thing that you just said. I identify with something else, and now you're telling me to identify with this new thing. It's going, no, I'm not doing that. The reason why is because beliefs are built in order to protect and promote us. Beliefs are built in order to protect and promote us. Beliefs are built in order to protect and promote us, and that means that we create a belief system to survive. It helps keep us grounded. There are different types of belief systems, and I'll go into that in a minute. Most are created between the ages of 4 and 6 years old. Most of your belief systems you're still running on were created between the years of 4 and 6. What does this mean? This means that you have beliefs that are outdated and unusable that helped you survive when you were 4 or 6. But now, you don't need them anymore. But they're still here because you built your entire life on top of them. Kevin's going to give you another handout now. We all have belief systems that aren't serving us anymore, that aren't helping us survive, that now are in fact hurting us and making it harder for us to survive. We all have those belief systems. I want you to think of 3 of those beliefs that aren't serving you anymore. What are 3 beliefs that are now actually hurting you? These may come in the form of I am statements that you believe are true but are negative. I am blank. These are beliefs that are not serving you anymore. They're old beliefs that helped keep you in your place, helped keep you grounded, to keep you from growing too quickly. There's a belief that I have that if I don't look both ways before I cross the street, I'll get hit by a car. That was created between the ages of 4 and 6 for me. And that one still serves me. But if I lived in the desert, it probably wouldn't serve me anymore. And I never was going to see a road again. I have to be more aware than just looking both ways before I cross the street. I have to be aware of all moving things. I have to create a new belief system to overlap or replace the last one. What are some belief systems that are not serving you anymore? Take a couple minutes and think about this. Just a few of them. So, what are some beliefs that you created that aren't serving you anymore? What I want you to do is I want you to turn to the person nearest to you that you're most comfortable with. Don't worry about running all over. And tell them what your 3 beliefs that aren't serving you anymore are. These are hard to tell people, but we're here for this. So tell the person next to you and switch and let them know and explain to them briefly. You got a few minutes to do that. Why don't you go ahead and do that now? Okay. This is something that I just realized I needed to touch on that I didn't have set up for you guys. All right. The way we are wired to look at life, it's as though we believe we're walking down a hallway. At the end of this hallway is our goal. And that's what we believe. We believe that when we walk down this hallway, we follow this specific path. At the end of this path, and we know this, we know it. At the end of this path, the goal is there. We know it. Because that makes sense to us. It's intuitive. But what happens is we get down at the end of the path and we realize there's nothing there. Not only is there nothing there, but there's 2 directions you can go. You can go left or right. Left or right. How about that? You can go left or right. So it looks like this. And here you are. And you're thinking, okay, not only is there nothing here, but now I have to choose a direction, left or right. And what if I go in the wrong one? What if I go in the wrong direction? So there's 3 typical responses to this. One type of person, and we all go through all these at all different times in our lives. One way to respond is to beat your head against this wall and refuse that this is not a hallway. Refuse to believe that this is not a hallway. Keep hitting your head against the wall over and over and over again. You're like, I'm just going to keep walking in this direction until this turns into a hallway. Because this is how it should be. It should be this way. It should be simple. And I agree, it should be. I agree. I'm with you on that. Judges fall into this trap a lot. Judges fall into the beat your head against the wall trap a lot. Another response is to sit down and cry. Be so paralyzed that you can't move. Just like, I don't know what to do. If I go left, then what if it was right? And if I go right, then what if it was left? I can't make a decision. I can't choose. I'm overloaded. Perceivers fall into this trap a lot. So what do? We sit down and we cry. We go, no. This shouldn't be, but now it is. Life sucks. Life isn't fair. And so on and so forth. Finally, the final response is to go, well, all right. I realize now this is not a hallway. Okay. It's a logical thing, but when you're in the moment, you can't realize this. I realize now this is not a hallway, but I don't know what it is yet. I don't know what it is, so I'm just going to walk until I figure out what it is. Out of those 3 types of people, guess which ones make it to the center to get what they want? Only the 3rd type does. Because life is not a hallway, it's a labyrinth. It's a maze. And you don't realize you're in it. You keep turning the wrong direction over and over and over again. The only way to get to the center of this maze, to get what you want, to reach your goal, whatever it is to keep walking. And does it matter which way you go? No, it doesn't. There's a big thing that will help you, the one thing that will help you, the only thing that will help you in this journey is knowing that this is a maze. And by that I mean knowing that you don't know what you want. Knowing that you're confused. Knowing that you're confused will empower you over the confusion. If you don't know you're confused, then you're just confused all the time. If you recognize that you're confused and you don't know, and that's okay, and that's okay. You don't know and that's okay. Then you reach your goal. Always. Just keep going. If you need to know before you move, you will go nowhere. That's how it is. So I was kind of inspired to say this because I forgot to talk about it, but if you see here, the only people that will get to the center are people that either go left or right. And of course, they're going to have a lot of mistakes to make along the way. And they're going to look down a hallway. It's going to seem like it ends at the end, like this one, looking from this direction. But when you get here, there'll be an opening. There'll be another one. That's how it is. Maslow, on his hierarchy of needs, if you're not familiar with it, it's a very brilliant concept that we have different levels of needs that we fulfill in our lives. And when we handle one, the next one appears. When we handle one, the next one appears. That means that when we finally handle it, the next level shows up then. And we realize there's another level to go to. If you're not moving and you're paralyzed, that's the only time you will not progress up. You can't know everything. You can't know the maze. Everyone's maze is different. You don't know what it is. Just keep walking. If your maze is that you want, or your goal is to create something beautiful that will change the world, keep creating. Keep creating. You're going to have 100 things maybe that you create that don't do anything. But finally, at the end, you're going to reach a center. That last thing will be the thing that changes the world. If you're married to success, like I am, sometimes, then it's the hardest for people like me to be able to understand this concept. Because in failure is success. In the journey, and because you kept going, you were able to find the center. Now, here's the interesting part. The interesting part is that the only people that really find the center are the people that like walking. They like walking. I don't know, they're here to walk. If they get to the center, awesome. They'll do something amazing. But they enjoy the process. They enjoy the process. If you enjoy the process, then you'll always make it to the goal. If you don't enjoy the process, you'll fight every single step of the way. You won't be able to get there. So that's a really important concept. I hope you guys take that in. I just want to touch on it because if you've ever played Zelda, you know that that is the most important part of the game and that you have to get to it. If you don't, then you're just not going to get any more powerful.